This weekend, the QC said goodbye to a man who had a big dream and an even bigger heart. Happy Joe Whitty was remembered during several celebrations of his life. Local 4 News Director Mike Mickles sits down with Joe's kids. They describe what it was like growing up Whitty.
Let's talk about this. He certainly was not a man who let grass grow under his feet. When he decided he wanted to go for something, he went for it. Talk to me about what it was like growing up in the house with that kind of energy.
You got up early. There was no sleeping in. If he was up, you all were up. So he started his day early and usually worked late into the day. So all that energy he put into raising his kids after our mom died, you know, that kind of thing. I don't know where he found it. I think his faith. We decided, I think it was his faith that got him through all that.
He talked a lot about his faith with me and just off camera and on camera. He made no bones about the fact that he had a very special business partner. How did he share that faith with all of you?
Oh, well, right there it is.
The photo, oh, that's right, yeah, the picture, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that.
He'd have a business meeting and he'd pull up an empty chair. If there were 4 people for the meeting, he had a 5th chair. And people would ask, well, who else was coming? And he'd say, well, that's a guy upstairs. It's the way he always, never liked to use the word God or Jesus. He always referred to, you know, his faith as the guy upstairs.
Growing up with him, and he talked with me about when he decided to go after this dream, well, you were all involved. He said back then we didn't worry about, you know, children helping out, and he said every one of the kids were involved in some way. So talk to me about what your roles were when he opened that first Happy Joe's.
In the very early days, we had white go-go boots as part of our uniform, and I was just thrilled that I was part of that team that got a pair of those white go-go boots, because that made me feel really cool.
They were so uncomfortable.
They were really like the fakey vinyl ones, I think, but we just thought we were neat.
Our mom designed and had those uniforms made. The first red and white ones with the little white eyelet lace. We wore bloomers because they were short. They were kind of like,
What do you remember about that opening day? Because he could remember it like it was yesterday. What do you remember about that first day?
Definitely lines out the door. I mean,
yeah.
It started with the line out the door, and I don't think it stopped for months after Dad started.
His ability to do business pales in comparison to the heart that he has. I mean, he truly cared about other people.
When he started Happy Joe's, he kind of committed to do that. He had the restaurant blessed the night they opened, or the night before we opened, and kind of made that commitment to the man upstairs that he would do something along that line every year for the special needs community in our area here. And then it just grew. When
you look back on this tremendous life, what goes through your mind?
You know, if you're in a room with my dad, I don't think he was happy if he wasn't making you smile, if he wasn't trying to do something to help your family. His heart was so big that I don't think he spent time worrying about himself. He spent time worrying about everybody else and always doing something for somebody.
He got us through a lot of hard times, all of us, individually and as a family, and himself, and the community as well.
Sum your dad up in one word.
Awesome.
Happy.
Hero.
Inspirational.
He's finally up there and he's having that face-to-face meeting with his business partner. What joke do you think he told him first?
The one that pops in my mind is the Ole and Lena, of course. And Ole passed away and went to the pearly gates. And in order to get in, you had to spell a word. And he said, "Can you spell pizza?" And he said, P-I-Z-Z-A. And then as he passes through and he's accepted into the pearly gates, St. Peter needed to take a break, so he took off and said, "Ole, man the gate for me." And next thing you know, Ole's wife comes up, Lena, and she must have passed away a little bit later. And then she gets to the gate. And so Ole says, "Hey, there's just one thing, you gotta spell a word before you can get through the gates." And she goes, "What's that word?" And he says, "Czechoslovakia."